A quick warning before we get into the substance of this video. This video is designed for young Christian men. It is not designed for women, so I'm going to speak a little more directly than if I was addressing everyone. That being said, let's jump in. Just don't be offended if I use language that's a little more direct than usual, because I am trying to address men, and I'm trying to speak in a way that I would have heard if I were still a young single man. So, number one reason that you may still be single is, well, let me tell a story first. So I had a friend who was living elsewhere, and he was a smaller guy. He moved to Arizona. He knows exactly who he is if he's watching this. He started going to the gym with me, and we would lift weights 3-4 times a week. Got him in the habit. I got him eating a lot more protein. Got him in the gym, really in the gym. He bulked up a little bit, started to have a bicep vein, started to have a little more confidence. His posture improved. Then my wife got pregnant, my life got crazy, and we ended up not working out together anymore, but he still goes to the gym on his own. And lo and behold, a few months later, he's engaged. So the first thing that you need, and it's not quite what you expect, but the first thing that you need if you're going to start to date and court and do so well is you need to have hygiene. What do I mean by hygiene? Hygiene is anything that affects your outward face, anything that affects your outward appearance. Okay, well, maybe you're super spiritual and you pray for an hour a day and you make lots of holy hours and you have all kinds of devotions and you read the scriptures. Great. But does your breath stink? Do you have coffee breath? Are you slouching over? Are you wearing a polo that you got in high school that you just haven't gotten rid of and it's comfortable, so that's what you wear? I mean, I'm not being superficial here, guys. Listen, the way that you look is the way that people think you are. People say, oh, don't judge a book by its cover. Everybody judges books by their cover. That's what the cover's for. So if you are the type of guy where you're like, oh, why can't I find my wife? Why can't I? I pray so much and I pray for my wife. Well, what are you wearing? When's the last time that you went to the gym? When's the last time that you worked out? When's the last time that you went to the doctor and tried to figure out some sort of a plan to get your health under control? That stuff's important, right? It's really important. I'll be fully honest with you guys here. Before I met my wife, she was having some health issues. She had a thyroid issue. She went to the doctor. She got it figured out. She ended up losing 30 pounds, and it's not like she was overeating or anything like that. She had a legitimate health problem that she fixed, lost 30 pounds, and then I met her. I'm not being superficial here, and I'm not being vain. I'm just being honest at this point. If my wife hadn't lost that weight, I don't think I would have been interested in her. And judge me if you want, say that I'm being superficial, but the way that a person looks indicates if they're healthy or not. And everyone wants a healthy spouse. You want a healthy wife because having kids is hard and it's physically demanding. And you want a healthy husband if you're a woman because you want somebody that's going to be in it for the long haul and be able to provide for you and be able to pick up boxes and move them around the house. So your physical health, your physical well-being is a priority. It has to be a priority if you want to find a spouse. I'm not being vain or superficial. That's just simply the way it is. If you look at somebody and they look sickly and they look like they don't have energy and they look like they don't have the ability to be the mother to your children, well, you're going to turn away. And it's not even an attraction thing. That definitely plays a part, but it's just a practical thing. Your biology matters. God made you with a body, and the body reveals the person. Your body expresses your soul. So you need to make sure that your body is doing a good job of that. So take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. That means work out. Men especially. Deadlift. Bench press. Get your testosterone levels up. It helps with everything. Are you wearing clothes that are just totally off-putting and old? Are you wearing the same shirt that you had in high school? Be honest. Are you? Are you? I know I still have some shirts from high school that I used to wear. I had to fix this up myself. So make sure that you've got that figured out. The second reason that you may be single is that you lack vision. Listen, men almost always end up smaller than their dreams. If you have small dreams, you're just going to be a small man unless God does something miraculous and pulls you up. But you have to have an idea of what you want and where you're going. Because whenever you get married, you're taking on a woman who's trusting you to lead her. And how can you lead without vision? How can you lead without knowing where you're going, or at least knowing where you want to go? You have to have some sort of a vision. Financially, what you want your lifestyle to look like, what you want your career to look like. You have to have somewhere that you're headed, something that you're aimed at, so that your wife, and eventually, God willing, your kids, can follow you in that and support you in that. You have to know where you're going and what you want. A lot of guys that I talk to, a lot of single guys, they're great guys, and they got the hygiene part down. But because they lack this one or the next one, the third one that I'm going to talk about, they can never seem to hold on to a girl or to find the girl that they want. So you have to have vision. Where are you going with your life? What do you want your life to look like in 10 years? Do you want to own your own business? Do you have a job, a set rank in your job that you want to be? Where do you want to be? What do you want your lifestyle to look like? You have to provide for your wife and kids. You got to do that. That's your job as the man. You got to figure that out. Do you have a plan? Are you just saying, hey, honey, come in, marry me. We'll figure it out as we go. Which one is a woman going to find more appealing? I've got my job lined up. I've got my career. I've got all that figured out. Maybe I own my own business. I've got the money, and I know where I want to be in 10 years. Honey, jump on. Let's get married. Or, yeah, I got a job for now, and I'm paying the bills, and we can probably eke by for another 5 years at this pace before kids come, before I have to figure something out. But, yeah, come on. We'll see if we can figure it out. Women want to be directed, right? Women want to be directed. So have vision on the macro scale, on the big scale. Where do you want your life to be in 10 years? What house do you want to live in? What state do you want to live in? What job do you want to be doing? How much money do you want to be making? What kind of vacations do you want to take? Have vision for that. And then also have vision on the micro scale. Women want to be directed. When they're looking for a husband, they're looking for a head. They're looking for someone to help them direct their lives in a well-ordered way, ultimately to God. So whenever you go on a date with a girl, plan the date a little bit. It doesn't take a huge amount of planning. Just say, hey, meet me at this restaurant at 5 p.m. and wear something casual because we're going to go on a walk at this park afterwards. That's it. It doesn't have to be this grand thing. It can be. Some guys are into that. That's great. Some girls are into that. That's great. I think if you want to impress somebody, put the effort in. But have a vision. I want to do this at this restaurant and then go on a walk. That's it. Step A, step B, step C. Close out the date. Don't just go and be like, hey, you want to hang out? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? That's cringy. Have some sort of a vision and some direction for your dates. Women want that. And then step number 3, and this one may be the most important thing. If you figure this out, then steps 1 and 2 kind of come along. But the third thing that men need to have before they're ready to start dating is peace. You have to have peace in your soul before you can be the spiritual head of somebody else. And what is peace? Augustine defines peace as the tranquility of order. In your soul, you have to have order. Things have to be well ordered, meaning the lower things have to be subordinated to the higher things, meaning your passions, your emotions, your bodily desires, your lust, it has to be ordered. It has to be subordinated to your reason, which has to be subordinated to God. What does that mean? It means you're living in a state of grace. It means that you're surrendering to God. It means that you're frequenting the sacraments and trying to grow holier the way that God has designed for you to grow holier. That's what it means. Because as the spiritual head of the family, if you take on a wife and take on a kid, or 2 or 3, and you're supposed to be the one that's directing them to heaven, and you can't even get yourself to heaven, that's really, really problematic. So before you're ready to get married, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be good enough at each of these 3. You have to have good enough hygiene. You don't have to be the most attractive man on the planet to find a wife. You don't have to do that, right? You don't have to be the best dressed man on the planet to have a wife. You don't have to be the strongest man on the planet to have a wife. You don't need that. But what you do need is a sort of good enough level. So figure out what your weakness is in hygiene. Do you need to start going to the gym? Maybe. Do you need to go shopping and get some new clothes, something that fits you nicely and shows off your good features physically? Maybe. Do you need to start getting more sleep because you're constantly having headaches and your face is breaking out because you're not getting enough sleep? Maybe. Look into it. What's your weak link in hygiene? Fix it. Take aim at it specifically, whatever your weak link is. Fix it. Secondly, vision. Do you know where you want to be in 5 years? Is your job the job that you want to be at 10 years? Where do you want to be? Do you want to own your own business? Are you taking steps towards that? Are you putting work in to try to develop the lifestyle that you want yourself and your family to have? If you're not, start. Doesn't have to be complicated. You could get out your notes app on your phone right now and write down, I want this, and this in 5 years. I want this kind of job. I want to make this kind of money, and I want to live in this kind of house. That's fine. That's not being superficial. That's just you hoping to obtain good things for yourself and for your family. Obviously, it's all ordered to God. It's all for God's sake. So none of it's superficial or vain, but you should want good things for your wife and for your children, for your family or your future family. And then 3 is, do you have peace? Are you praying the rosary daily? Do you have a prayer routine? Do you? Because you're going to be expected to lead your wife and children in prayer one day. And if you can't even make yourself pray, how are you going to get them to do it? Do you have peace? Are your passions subordinated? Are you flying off the handle angry every time something goes wrong? Because with kids and a wife, things are going to go wrong. There's going to be messes. There's going to be delays. There's going to be all kinds of things that you can't foresee. And you're just going to be seething if you can't get that passion of anger under control. It's not good for you. It's not good for you at all. Lust. Do you have your lust under control? Do you? Are you still looking at filth online or not? Do you wish you had things that aren't good for you? You need to get that under control. You need to take those desires and say to Jesus, Jesus, I give you these desires. Please heal me. These are my wounds. Look at them, divine physician. Please heal me. I pour my soul out before you. I hold nothing back from you. Please, Jesus, heal me. Please. Pray that to him, and over time, he will heal your soul. He will. He always does. He promised to, and he can't lie. So you need to have those 3 things. The last thing I'm going to say is I am hosting a free online community for anybody who wants to grow in their faith through praying the rosary daily. If you're interested in joining me and a bunch of other men in that and going to war against the enemy and conquering some demons, then check out the link in the description.